There comes a moment in the life of a nation when people stop asking for survival and start demanding something greater. Dignity, truth, fairness, and leadership that does not feed on division, but on the strength of unity. And in that moment, something deep begins to rise inside ordinary people. Not hatred, not destruction, but a powerful refusal to keep living under systems that feel rigged, tired and disconnected from the lives they claim to serve. And so the call grows louder, not for conquest, not for chaos, but for change that is real, change that is honest, change that finally places human life above profit and political theater. Because too many people feel the pressure of a country that moves fast for some and leaves others behind. Where healthcare becomes harder to reach, where rent climbs beyond reason, where food becomes heavier on the wallet while promises remain light in the air. And in that pressure, frustration is born, not always directed clearly, not always understood fully, but real nonetheless. Because struggle is real and silence does not fix struggle. And still in the middle of all this noise, there is something important that cannot be ignored. The desire for truth, for accountability, for leadership that does not manipulate fear but answers it with action. Leadership that does not divide people into enemies, but brings them back into shared responsibility for a future that belongs to everyone, not just the powerful or the loudest voices. And there are moments when anger tries to take the wheel, when frustration begins to turn into harsh judgment, when people feel tempted to believe that the world is only good versus evil, us versus them. But if a nation is to heal, it cannot survive on that kind of thinking alone. Because real change requires clarity, not blindness, courage, not cruelty, and discipline of spirit strong enough to demand better without becoming bitter. So the awakening is not about destruction, it is about discernment. It is about seeing clearly enough to choose better leaders, better systems, better priorities, and refusing to accept empty promises wrapped in emotional noise. It is about understanding that no political movement, no ideology, no leader is above consequence, and every decision eventually returns to the people who live under it. And yes, there are forces in every era that profit from confusion, from outrage, from keeping people too divided to notice what is actually happening in their daily lives. But awareness is stronger than manipulation when it is grounded in truth, and truth is not owned by any single group. It is revealed in outcomes and lived experience, and whether people are healthier or worse off, freer or more burdened, more secure or more anxious than before. And so the call becomes simple but powerful: choose better, demand better, refuse to be distracted from what actually matters. Do not surrender your voice to anger alone, but sharpen it with wisdom. Do not abandon hope, but direct it toward action that builds rather than breaks. Because freedom is not only a slogan, it is something measured in the ability to breathe without fear, to work without collapse, to live without constant pressure pressing down on every decision. And if freedom is to be real, it must show up in everyday life, not just in speeches or symbols. And in that vision, people are not enemies. They are citizens, neighbors, families, workers, believers, skeptics, dreamers, all trying to survive in the same system, all affected by the same decisions, even when they disagree on the path forward. So the future is not written in rage, but in choice, not in division, but in participation, not in tearing down one another, but in raising standards so high that leadership must rise to meet them. And if there is a prayer hidden inside this message, it is this: that people do not give up on each other, even when they disagree, that they do not surrender their humanity for the sake of political identity, and that they remember that the true measure of any nation is not how loudly it argues, but how wisely it chooses what comes next.